Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Micks Mowers. In today's episode we're going to be looking at an ATCO Viscount lawnmower. This is like the ATCO Admiral, just the big brother, the next one up. I think it's about 21 inch with a Briggs and Strat on top, but the pull cord's gone. And the bloke said it used to be an absolute spanking mower, he said. But since the pull cord snapped and what have you, and he had problems starting it and what have you, it's just been sat in the corner of his garden. So I did a trade-in, I sold him a mower. He put that one in as part X and then gave me another mower for me to repair free of charge. So he's got a backup mower. Should the mower I gave him pack up for whatever reason, he's always got a spare backup mower. So got a bit of work to do on the other mower, just get that running for him. This has got a classic on there, I think. But this little Viscount came in as a bit of a part exchange, so that's cool. Before we get any further, someone has sent me a couple of bits off of my Amazon wish list, which you can find in the comment section. I actually have an Amazon wish list. Feel free to go and check that out. 175 piece washer set. Big penny washers and little tiddly ones in there. So washers are you know, everyone needs a washer without a doubt. So they're fantastic. Thank you very much for that. And then they've also sent me a Allen key set or hex key set, whichever you want to call them. A brand spanking new set of those, complete. I've lost loads of my old set I had. I should bin those because I've got a brand new set here. But I have no idea who actually sent those to me. There was no love letter in the box. So if that was you, put your name and say, yes, that was me, Mick, so I know who it is in the comment section. Otherwise, I can't say thanks. People who buy me little tiny gifts or Rider Boy gifts and tools off of my Amazon wishes are instrumental to my channel because it does save me money because running a YouTube channel does actually cost money to run one. So thank you very much for that. I'm very much appreciative. If this is the first time I'm watching Micks Mowers, hit the subscribe button, whack your bell, set your notifications to all. That way you'll be told when I've done a video, or two, I'm on my Saturday night weekly live stream, which starts at 6:30 PM at UK time, where people come up from all over the world, talk about small engines and have a good laugh and a joke, so come and join us. So without further ado, let's get down and dirty, and let's check out this ATCO Viscount lawnmower. Right, let's go have a little nose at this lawnmower then. Hey up. What's she up to? There's Mrs. P. What are you doing, baby? Hanging and washing out. Hanging what? What's that? Nana's pants? No. Oh, it's a bed sheet. Oh, I thought it was Nana's pants. Right. Mrs. P's busy doing housework and bits and pieces. But it's quite a nice day. It's a bit overcast today, but it's a bit muggy. I think we're due a thunderstorm quite soon. That'd be nice. Right, here is the Viscount. As you can see, 4 horsepower Briggs and Strat on it. Priming Briggs as well. It's got dead man handle. I think it's dead man's handle. Yeah, dead man's handle. Throttle control. Power drive there as well. I'm not quite sure how that power drive works yet. All the cables all seem to be locked up. So I'm going to have to be a bit careful here. So first thing I'm going to do is get it indoors after it's had a bit of a blow off. I'm going to take these cables off, run some oil down them, that sort of stuff. I've got to prepare the pull cord, and then we'll go from there as to what we'll do with this machine. But as I say, it's quite a big old machine. The handle does seem to be slightly skew-whiffed here. I'm not sure what's going on here. It seems to be lopsided, so I might have to get a bit of a twist up. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. It seems to want to go that way. So it might just be out of level, but we'll see. So that's good. So we get that done. Mrs. P's been busy in the old garden. Let me show you what she's been doing. So she thinks he's in Turkey, don't you, babe? She thinks he's in Turkey. She's been painting all these white stones here. Oh, well, she's been painting the stones white. They weren't. We've been up here cleaning, but we've got a bee's nest just here, which we've got to leave down in here somewhere. There's a bee's nest in there. But not, you know, I don't want to upset them because they are protected, the old bees. But yeah, there's a bee's nest in there. So we need to be a bit careful down here. They are bumblebee bees, they're not honey bees. So they're in there at the moment, they're living out the summer. So she's been doing that, painting ornaments and what have you. There's Nana's pants. We've had a dig over here on the magnolia, that's come up really, really well. Well happy with that. New furniture set, bought that just the other day, that's nice, we like that. She's been up here planting. New flowers going in. It's made it nice and pretty. She's painted that as well. That's doing her head in. She's painted that as well. That water thing. She's done that. All this fence panel she's been painting. I'll give the old bush a bit of a trim the other day. Tidy that up. She's hacked all the way down through here, and she's dug all that lot up. I've tied all that lot up there myself. Down through here, she's been painting here as well, and what have you. Looks like a prison curb. And I put a new hedge in here. So that's all getting there slowly but surely. So yeah, that's what we've been doing. Right, I'll get you set up, and then I'll come back to you in 2 ticks. Right, one ATCO Viscount 19, so it's a 19-inch on the bench. As I say, this one came in as part of a trade-in deal. He had 2 or 3 I could choose from, and this one seemed to be the better condition out of the 2 or 3, from what I know. And obviously, rear roller on the back. Should sell better than the other ones that he had. There's lots of dirt and crud on here. So another quick little blow off with the old air compressor. Oh, it is dirty. That is dirty. Bit of a maintenance lube on the said carburetor and spring attachments, because it all looks as dry as a bone. And a little bit of lube going down inside the pull cord assembly as well, because it looks like it's been sat in the rain for a little while as well. So that's all good. Any petrol in the old girl? No, petrol tank hasn't got any fuel in it, and there's a bit of dirt in there as well, so I have to give that a bit of a clean out. Any oil in the old girl? Yeah, bit of oil in there. All looks as black as you're at. Does a height adjustment work? Yeah, that works. It's a bit stiff, but it just wants to loosen up, a bit of lube. These machines are great. They do suffer with a height adjustment problem or bracketry problem on this side mainly. They tend to snap, but this one's all right, so that's cool. Let's unlock the old toolbox and let's get some tools out. I want my 1/4-inch extension with my impact. Now, any of you guys and girls that are interested in any of the tools that I use, I've had lots of questions of late asking me about the tools that I'm using. The majority of the tools that I use, like the impact and the extension bars, you can find them in my about section page or in the comment section. I'll put them under tools that I use. So if you're interested in like these extension bars here for the DeWalt whatever, or for the Hexi impacts, you'll find them in there. So feel free to go and check them out. All the little bits and pieces that I use that are quite handy, you'll find them all in there. So feel free to go and check them out. I need a magnet tray would be good, Mick. Can't live without a magnet tray. It's a spring off a drive cable there. That fuel pipe can stay. So now I want to put what do we want? 3/8 bolt on there. 3/8, which is that one there. I'm just looking to take this recoil assembly off first. So it'll be 4 bolts, one there, one there, one at the back here, which I always drop, and one at the back here, which I always drop. Get that dropping it. No, that drops. Do you hear it drop? It always drop. I'm going to go fishing for that in a minute. Then we can just loosen this up. We get a bit of a blow off as well, because I don't want to put no dirt in the oil filler around this side here. Very dirty Bertie. That should lift. Now he says. There it goes. Cool. That's right, stuck on there. Right, there you go. Oh my word. Okay. So a bit of blue roll, just to save the oil from getting any debris in there. Goes a bit of blue roll goes down in the hole, and then again another blow off to go onto the engine. Let me get it cleaned up and I'll come back to you. Right, so, are we recording? Yeah. Okay, so got the pull cord assembly. It was actually not seized, but it was jammed. I just managed to fish out the old pull cord, and down the bottom of the lawnmower, I found the original one as well. So that's cool. So I got all that together. Now I've got to try and retract this pull cord out without doing much damage. As you can see, it is retracting to a degree, but I think it's very, very rusty, so it will need a bit of a clean up. Just going to try and locate this cord out of there, take that out. There it goes. That's as far as it wants to go, I think, without damaging it. Yeah, it is. So as you can see, I've let go of it and it hasn't actually moved as of yet. So it is actually jammed to a degree. But before I start to clean that up, I want to thread the new pull cord in, just so when we go to clean it up and get it running, I don't have to re-thread it all over again. So to try and find me my lighter. There it is. I've got some 4mm pull cord here. I'm actually out of 3.5. I generally use 3.5. Give that a burn up. And then we can then fish that through the hole. Through both holes, there it goes. Come on, baby. Set of forceps or hemostats, whatever you want to call them. Mine were here somewhere. Been moving stuff about because I've been busy working in the old shop. Screwdriver will have to do. I've also set my hemostats as well. I had 2 or 3 pairs of those, and they're all going for a Burton at the moment. I've been busy in the old shop. Pull that through. Tie that off. Right down the bottom. Okay, good. So now, as you can see, that pull cord is actually stuck. So I'm just going to wind it all the way in. I'll give it a little blast off with my air compressor. Just right here. And then I'm going to back that up with a bit of WD-40 spray for now. Let that soak all the way in, plenty of WD-40. Give that a little tiny bit of encouragement. Wind it in a bit more. Starting to go, there she is, she's starting to go now. Wind it in a bit more. A bit more cord mick. Now she's starting to go. I'll get a bit of maintenance lube now. In fact, I'll blow that WD-40 out. And we'll put a bit of maintenance lube in now. Let that run down for all the vital bits. It's got rid of that noise now. Now you can see that's now recoiling quite well. So it wants to go there. So how much cord have we got in there? Yeah, we've got about 5 feet in there now, which is nice. It's about right. And the more and more you do this, the better it'll be. So let me just pull on it a few times, just to get it to running nice. Once I'm happy with it, we'll put it back onto the machine, and we'll go for a fire up and see what we get. I mean, that's now just uncoiled a bit more. I think, yeah, I might have to recoil this spring, I think. Yeah, we're gonna have to, aren't we? Methinks. Well, I've got some in there. How much have I got in there? I've got 3 or 4 foot in there. All right, give 2 ticks. I'll keep putting it all down it, and then we'll go from there. Right, so pull cord's now done. Hopefully it'll hold. I don't know if that spring's any good or not. That's a problem. We shall see when I give it a couple of pulls. It might just come apart in my hand. Hopefully it won't. So a bit of fuel going in. Let's wet its whistle. Don't put too much in because I might have a fuel leak. So just enough just to fill that carby up. And we'll see what we get, shall us? Let's give it a few pumps. I don't know if it primes or anything yet. Let's give it lots of prime. We've got a cable tie around the fuel hose as well, which is not normally a good sign. All right. Yeah, getting fuel coming out of the air filter, so that's either telling me it's working or it's flooding. So dead man in. Right, let's see what we get, shall we? Couple of pulls over first, hang on. Okay, here we go. That popped. Popping. Right, let's put a new plug in. I dare say that plug has failed. Let me grab a new plug. I've got some new ones down here. Somewhere over the rainbow. Oh, here we are. Right. Plug spanner. B2LM. So yeah, we'll whip a new plug in. I'll get it out of the box. Because a new plug can make all the difference. Make all the difference. It's got a Champion already in there. God, I can't get the lid off. There it goes. That's corroded too. Now what's occurring here? That's got wrong plug in it. That's got a strimmer plug in there. My word, my word, my word. All right, let's bring a selection of sockets out then. They don't quite fit, and I've also got my new spark plug wrench as well. I use that. That looks like it's got a 6H in there, which is wrong plug. Let's try my new spark plug tool. Oh my word. Oh, lordy, lordy. That's in there. Oh, there she goes. Right, what have we got in here? We got a BM6A in there. That shouldn't be in there. Let's put a B2LM in. So that'd be wrong plug. Let's put one of these bad boys in. I might just give that a little tiny clean as well. Just with a screwdriver. Just to scratch the surface up of that HT lead. There's a bit corroded in there. I couldn't even get it off. But as you see, this is a live fire up here. This is what happens. I don't hide the truth. This is the way it goes sometimes. So just all I'm doing is just scratching the inside of the HT lead because it's corroded. Alright, that's got a bit more bare metal there now. We'll try that. That's gone in. Right, let's give that a go. See what happens now then with that. I'm sure that's your dead man. Yeah, that's your dead man. Alright, let's have another go. So it runs. However, drive works, but when you take the drive off, it stops. I know that sounds silly, but you should be able to push the drive forward and then leave it, and then you have to physically shut it off yourself. I think that cable's just a bit worn or a bit rusty, so that cable has to come off and be cleaned. The throttle doesn't work either. That's completely jammed, so again, it needs to be cleaned as well. A bit of cleaning going on. But however, it runs. Dead man all works. That's a bit bent as well. It needs to just be bent upwards and spray up. So relatively happy. Don't think the engine's loose, is it, mate? Yeah, the engine's a little bit loose. Yeah, I'll sort that out. But all in all, pretty good. I'm quite happy with that. What I'll have to do next is just take the cables off, give them a clean up. I'll show you how to clean the cables or what have you. Get them working, and then hopefully, once the throttle's working and the drive's working, we can then go on and do a service on this machine as well. Right, so we're back. However, it ain't good news-ish. It's repairable, but it's not what I was expecting. So actually, there's a crack in this deck. Just there. There's a little bit of flex, which I noticed when I pulled the engine. And from what I can see, it's just on that one corner. Okay, so now the engine's been running for a bit. I'm going to take the oil out of the machine anyway. Okay, I'm going to take the blade off. I don't know if it's got a friction disc on. I think it's got like a Flymo sort of fin fan under here. I think that's what it's got under here. Have a look. Friction disc style. So blade off, friction disc style plate off, engine off, disconnect it. I've got to do the cables anyway, so that'd be a good opportunity to do the cables. And then I'm going to clean all this up, and I'm hoping to either plate it or fiberglass it. I think fiberglass might be the way to go. Once that fiberglass takes it, sticks like the proverbial to the proverbial, and it'd be reinforced. I mean, if you get, it's the same thing. If you get a crack in a boat and you get a leak, you fiberglass it, right? It's the same thing. Well, it's not as a lawnmower, but it's the same thing. It's a plastic piece of equipment. So why shouldn't we fiberglass it? I've got fiberglass here. I'll go from there. So I'm just going to use my new all singing, all dancing oil extraction pump. I've just dropped a bit down here. That my mate Jeffrey bought me. Cheers for that, my old mucker. So I'm going to go on this. I'm going to go up for the next pipe up. The last pipe I used was too small, I think. Yeah, that goes in a lush. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm just going to cut this off at a slight angle. Angle bedangle, just so it doesn't actually sit on the bottom of the pan. Yeah. Right, so I've now just put a slightly bigger one in. I think there's an issue with that bung, I think. I don't quite want to seal, so I'm going to tip this lawnmower up now onto its side. If I can get out of the way of all these bits and bobs here. Tip it up onto its side slightly, and then pump it again. Now that's pulling a serious amount of oil out in one go, that is. That's the way to do it. That pulled out so much oil. That's about, that's best part of about 4.5 mil across, that is. That won't take long to pull it out, pull it all out of there. I like that. Like go into there. Let's just give that another quick little suck off quick. Let's get rid of that oil. That's it. Right, happy with that. That's cool. That's mega quick. Right. I've got to sort the other one out, the other end out. It's not quite right. I've got a spare couple of litres of those off my old pump, so maybe that's got one in there. Well, I'll sort that out. Right, that's a bit off there I need to repair it later on. So that's that done. All is now out, which is good. Oil dipstick back on. So the next one I do is tip this machine up onto its bum, blade off, friction disc off, and then get to the engine bolts. I'm going to disconnect these cables now, because they've all got to be oiled up as well. I'm 110% convinced I can actually fix this. So off comes the throttle control. I don't want to give up on it because it's not only a good little engine, but this was part of a trading deal, so don't want to give up on this really. Does that throttle work now? Yeah, look, the throttle now works now to a degree. I think someone's had a bit of play with that. Is that all locked up? Yeah, that's not brilliant. It's moving now though. So let me try and put that back on. I think someone's had a bit of a play with the throttle assembly. Because it goes, that should move better than that. It wasn't moving a minute ago. Yeah, let's see what it won't actually push that forward. I can push it forward by hand. It won't actually, oh there you go, it will now. I think that was too far back, so I might do a bit of oiling up, a bit of adjustment in here to free that up. But I'll put some oil down there anyway, just so we can lube that one up. And then I want a pair of long nose snips around this side of the machine. And I want to remove the dead man by twisting it and then putting my long nose clippers in there. Pull that one out. Like so. Off you come, puppy. Goes. So that's that. So that's all the cables now off of the engine for me to remove it. I can now safely remove the HT spark plug, not having to fire up. Tip the machine back onto its bum, pull my drawer out, and then sit under there quite happily. And these I think are an Allen key on here. Oh, they normally are. Yeah, big Allen key on these. Let me bring it down so you have a little look. Okay, so I've now got my Allen key bit which I've welded in there with a hammer. I'm going to now try and remove that off. If it'll come. I doubt it will. They've been on there an age. No way, baby. But you do have to come off. So I'm going to go for the big boy toy, breaker bar with a reducer. And I think I'll try and put my blade stop tool on there as well, to try and hold that blade nice and steady. If it'll go, bear in mind it is a plastic deck, so it may not like it. Try and find a nice strong point on the deck. It's got a rib in it just here, so we go here. What I don't want to do is break this deck anymore than it already is. That's a problem. So that's quite strong there. I'll give that a go. I want to reduce on that socket. No, I'm going to do that socket. It's on there. That's on. Right, now onto your hats. Here she goes. That should turn on my D-wall now, I think. Is that turning or not? Yeah, it is. Oh, for a minute I thought that was spinning. I thought, here we go. If that didn't come off, that would have been it, game over. But she's coming. She's coming now. Lovely job. Right, load of washers, bits and pieces, keep all that together. Blade's well and truly battered, but that can be sharpened. Remove a blade tool. This is next to come off, which I think it's not going to be an easy job in itself. Because it's plastic, so therefore can't give too much physic. bit of WD-40, you can't heat it, you can't pull it. So put a bit of WD-40 up in there. And just, it's going to be wiggle it just a little bit. There it goes, we got it. Quite happy with that. Cool. That comes off, that boss can stay on there. Loads of grass and stuff here to remove a bit later on. I'm not overly concerned about it for now. Next we've got engine bolts to remove, 1, 2, 3. And they're going to be a type that I just put, just go straight into the engine now. This could happen, right, people? It's as simple as that. You can get this far on a project, and I've had them before. These engine bolts, they can and do just snap on you. Now, this engine bolt snap on me. You've got to drill them out and tap them and all the rest of it. It's a lot of work, and at that point, it's whether I'll make the decision whether or not to stay with it or scrap it. So let's just see how we get on. So fingers crossed. So what I'm doing here is I'm putting, I can see the bolt is moving, I'm going up and down a few times. Just to try and get some of this corrosion to move. If you just go straight out, you'll snap them. Well, I've got one moving, so I'll leave that halfway in. We'll come to the back one now. Just keep an eye on them. I've got the back one moving. Over to this side. That one come out lovely. And that one probably come out lovely because that's probably where the crack is. So this one has now come out. So I had one of these in last week. Oh my lord, I snapped 2 bolts. All right. So there's your engine bolts now out. That came out easier than what I thought it was going to, but that generally means something's going to stitch me up later. So now, engine on its bum, we can now remove the engine. There'll be a drive belt to consider somewhere. Oh my lord, it's side shaft, isn't it? Lovely job, I forgot about that. So it's actually a side PTO driven machine this, and on the haters you can get in here, but look, you can't get in there. So you're gonna have to go underneath. So back up onto its bum again. The engine will want to fall off now. I might have to put an engine bolt back in just to hold it up. So they do provide you with a little tiny plate by the looks of it on here. We've got a screw here. A screw here, so this cover assembly will remove, okay, and then that'll give you access to the PTO shaft inside. There will be a Phillips, but I dare say a Phillips won't work because they've all been rusted and rounded off. Oh, do you know, I've got one. If they all come out like that, we'll be laughing. There's another one up here. That one's gonna, no, that one's not gonna move. Let me get a bigger Phillips on that. Let me get a bigger boy. Bigger boy Phillips. I need to sort my screwdriver drawer out because we're not quite rocking and rolling the toolbox with screwdriver drawer yet. Ah, there you go, got that one. All right, that's that one. There's 2. Just put them screws with a magnet so you won't lose them. There'll be a bolt here somewhere, I expect. Or here. There's something here. Head's in the way, I know. I need to see what I'm doing. There'll be a little catch there. That could just be a big Phillips, a big flathead to pop that apart. Somehow. I don't want to break it because it's unique to the old mower. down, happy with that. There's nothing there, there's only one here. I reckon that just pulls apart. Let me have a figure out, and I'll come back to you in 2 ticks. Right, I've had to put one engine bolt back in to hold the engine sturdy because I couldn't see how to remove this. But look, on further inspection with the engine tipped on its side, there's a screw right down in here, which I think is going to come out. It is, without dropping it, of course. Not very well magnetised. Yeah, that one's out. So I'm guessing there'll be another one down in here. Yeah, there's one there. So that removes that section there. So there's another screw down here as well to remove that one. Once that's removed, let me get my pair of long nose pliers and just try and have that other screw out whilst we're here. This video is going to be slightly longer than I first anticipated. But that's sometimes the way it goes. So it might be a part 1, part 2 job. We'll have to see how we get on. I don't want to be another hour-long video. It's probably already half an hour long as it is. So I'm going to get a pair of pipe wrenches now. A good sized pair. I just want to try and get hold of that and see what it does if we give it a wiggle. There shouldn't be a lot holding that now. There's no more screws there from what I can see. Need that thinks. Yeah, that's pretty much there. So that should, by rights, that should lift out of there. There it goes, that moved. I think it just sits in. It's definitely come up. This is the first time me and the dig at one of these, so it's sort of learning as you go, which is what we do. That might be nice with a little hammer in there. There's not many places to get much leverage on it. There it goes, right, okay, bit of leverage. So that one come out. I guess there you go, right, so let's have a quick little look at that. Literally just sits in a slide fitting, that's it. So because of the dirt and crap that's behind there, that hasn't helped it. Okay, we've got a nice bit of rump stake there. And the good thing is now is that I can now remove this from the PTO shaft just here. Okay, that can now just come straight off so the engine can come off. But this will give me good access for the drive. There's the drive assembly there. And by rights, I'm not quite sure how that drive assembly works. It should go all the way up and then lock off is what I think happens. But how that locks off, as of yet, I'm not quite sure. It might be that the actual cable is adjusting. Could be. It won't lock off. So I've got to figure that out yet. I don't think you have to hold the dead man's handling and the drive at the same time. That'd be a bit daft, but there you go. It could be a thing. Either way, PTO, power takeoff, belt is now off, okay? So now we can clear some tools. That was a bit of a mission. But then, you know, one thing I have just done is I've just educated myself. And by educating myself, I've educated you guys. So now I can loosen that engine bolt off one last time. And that engine should, he says, how's that come out of there then? Go through there. Oh Lord. That's a mission. Right, there you go. Engine out. Oh. So the engine comes out with the PTO shaft attached, but it has to come out. There's a hole just down here. Bob, see that? Got to go through that hole. So there you go. That be the engine off. Let me get it tipped up onto its wheels and we can then inspect this crack that we've got. It's on this back one here. There's a little bit of a crack just there, ever so slightly, but I think it's more along this edge. But let's tip it up, and I'll be back in 2 ticks. Right, we're there. Now I'm going to be using different types of materials to begin with, just to clean the area up so it's visible. So a bit of oil. I know what you're saying. It won't stick to oil. I know it won't, but I just try and clean the area. And then we can use white spirits and stuff for clean up in a bit. Okay, or petrol, whatever. Let's get a bit of blue roll. So I'm not going to give up on this because it technically is a free mower because it comes as part of the deal, you know. So what I pay for the mowers is not a lot anyway. There you go, there's a crack. It's quite substantial, but it is a running crack. A running crack. But I think your feet stink. No, I think with a little bit of therapy in there, we can put a bit of fiberglass straight down through here, right, and then patch that up. Spray it green as well. I've got a ransom green. I've got a British racing green as well. And then, yeah, fiberglass that end. Once that's gone off, we'll turn it over and we'll fiberglass the other side. Now, some people, I suppose, could, you know, just rivet it shut and put a plate over it and what have you, but I think fiberglass would hold that quite well. Put a bit of clamps on there, clamp that to that, so that holds that together. It wants to be about there, yeah, that'd be lush. And then we should be good. So let me get it cleaned up. Let me get the area all sort of cleaned up, both top and bottom. I want to get a little bit of sandpaper, rough the area up, get it prepared ready, bit of white spirit, just so the area will take a fiberglass, and then we'll start to fiberglass it. So let me get it cleaned up, I'll be back. Right, so now it's all been gunked off, cleaned up, air compressed, and what have you, all nice and clean. All I'll do is get a bit of sandpaper now, and just rough the area up, give it a bit of a key so the fiberglass has got something to bond to. And then what I'm going to do is, where this crack is coming down here, I'm just going to drill a hole straight in there. Drill a hole, quite a good size hole, and then I'll fiberglass over top of it, and that should stop the crack from travelling, okay? So nice little sanding going on. Just to make sure I've got a nice surface to adhere to, and then once that's done, I'll get some fiberglass, we'll mix it up, and we'll start the fiberglass. So I'm going to try and clamp it if I can. If I can try and clamp that shut, that'd be brilliant. I'm not sure how I'm going to fit a clamp to that yet. Again, it could be drilling a couple of holes just here. It's 2 small holes just to peg that down, a bit of wire just to hold it in place whilst we do that, or could just put something really heavy on there. That might do just as well. Put something quite weighty on there. So let me get this all sanded back, get it ready, get my hole drill, stop it from travelling any further, and then we'll be good to go for some fiberglass on the underside. We do the underside first, and then we can then push forward, turn it over once it's dry and gone off, and do the top side. So this might be a part 1, part 2, as I say, but we'll see how we get on. I have also noticed this drive as well. There's a little tiny plate down here, and I think that's got something to do with the way in which the drive it stays on. I think literally that just hooks past that like so, and holds it in place somehow. There's a little tiny groove there. I've got to figure that out yet. So yeah, a bit of a tidy up, and then once it's done, we'll come back and get some fiberglass done. Right, fiberglassing time. Highly recommend wearing gloves with fiberglassing, because it can become irritant if it goes off and gets into your skin. So you really want to be wearing fiberglass gloves with this. You're in a clean container. I generally like to use the Chinese style takeaway tubs because they're disposable. You want some fiberglass matting, so I've got a fiberglass resin kit as well, pair of scissors and a small cheap cheerful brush. That's all you need. So first thing I want to do is get a bit of your fiberglass matting. You can buy these in kit form, okay, for about 15-20 quid. They're not a lot of money. I think I put conker onto a set a while back. Just want to cut yourself a little portion off to begin with. Put it to one side, don't let the kids know near that, okay? And then all we're going to be looking to do is roughly mould that shape into it. So it's going to go something like that. Make sure there's nothing else underneath it. So there's a screw hole there we need to be concerned about. And I want to lap that just over this side here as well. So it's going to go to there. It's then going to sit into here, come all the way around. I'm going to cut a piece out where that screw hole is. It's going to go there. And then I'm going to put another piece going down here as well, just to reinforce that section there. So that piece there, that's got to come out. Like so. So always have it prepared ready, okay, is what I'm trying to tell you. Get the belt out of the way. You don't want fiberglass on that belt, that'll ruin the day. Yeah, that'll go around there, that'll hold that. That'll all sit into there. Quite happy with that. That'll all sit over there. Beautiful, just like you lot. Okay, so we're happy with that. That's how it's going to look, okay? So there's our mould. So always have your template ready. Next thing, to give you a fiberglass little shake up. Make sure you're in view. I don't know whereabouts you are. I think you're there somewhere. Let's have a little look-ski. Yeah, you can see, right. A little bit of fiberglass resin. Now you don't want to make a lot up initially, okay? Just make up enough for task. I'm nearly out, but I should have enough for project. So that should be, woo, more than enough, Mick. Put that to one side. And then get your hardener. Give it a squeeze in the packet first. And it's the same sort of ratio as you would do for body filler, you know, 50p size worth of resin to a pea size of the hardener material, or your activator, whatever you want to call it. So that will be about the ratio, somewhere in there, okay? It's not an exact science. All I will say, if you do put too much hardener in, one, it will either go off too quick, or secondly, it can actually have a chemical reaction and start to smoke and catch fire. And even put it in water won't put it out. So make sure you don't put too much hardener in. So first thing to do is mix up your fiberglass, okay? So you don't need a lot. Once you've got enough on there, you've got about 3 or 4 minutes of good work time with it. So now start to just literally bond it to the surface that we're going to be fiberglassing. Like so, just to give it something to adhere to. Then get your matting, so you can just roughly tell where it's going to go. A bit further down here yet. That'll be about right there, Mick, I'd say. Then get your matting. And that's roughly where it's going to go. Okay, so just push it down gently. Fold all the corners in. And now you want to do is just start to work the material into the deck. I might make a bit more up yet. In fact, I'm going to. And it's quite cheap, this old fiberglass. It's not expensive. And it's a good way of fixing plastic parts together. So just start to work it into all the nooks and crannies. I said crannies, not grannies. So let me mix a bit more up now, because you've got to soak that in, okay? So just putting a bit more in, a bit more hardener or activator, whatever you want to call it. Now working quite quick, because the first one's going to start to go off quite quick, going to go quite rapid, okay? So mix it up. Keep it moving, and then you can start to put it into place. Once it starts to take, it will sit still, okay? This will be a tricky corner here. So you need to try and work it in. Once it's wet, it'll start to hold. But the important thing is to get it all nice and wet. Like so, and then get in there with your finger and what have you. This is why you're wearing gloves, and just start to work it in place. It's a messy old project, but the benefits of using fiberglass are very high. I used to do a lot of fiberglassing back in my younger days. Make sure you're well ventilated too. Both my barn doors are open, so I'm getting lots of ventilation through. Now that's not wanting to stick down there, so I'm going to pull this back. I'll put a bit more jollop up in there, down through there, and I'm going to force that in. So that's got it. Push it round, force it into all those little holes, and it'll start to take now. There it goes. And just paint it like you're painting a wall. Don't worry about the odd bits and pieces coming off. The wetter the better, as I keep on saying. And now you see it's starting to behave itself now. Starting to hold in all the areas we want it to. And by pulling it backwards, you're actually encouraging the fibres to spread out and to adhere to places on your project that you necessarily want. So just bring that bit over. I'm not happy with that bit there, so I'm just going to get something I'm not going to probably use again. Bit of metal here. Just going to run that into there just to hold it because it's not behaving itself. Once it starts to hold, you can then work with it a bit. There's actually a crack right down through here, so we need to make sure we get plenty on. Now the resin is starting to go now. I can feel it. It's becoming a little bit tacky, so you don't have long to make sure you get it right. It's that corner I don't like. So I'm going to bring that corner around and start to work it up this way now. It doesn't want to sit in there, so you need to make a choice. My choice is to put it back into there. That's better. We like that. There it goes. You can always sand this stuff back as well. Once it's cured, you can always sand it back. There you go. Now it's starting to work for us. See how them fibres are all crossing over each other, giving it all the maximum strength it needs. So what I might do is I've got a little tiny bit of fiberglass here. I might just put that, a little tiny sticker just in there, just the other side of it. I didn't want to bend round. Just put one small piece in there on its own. It didn't want to behave itself. There it goes. Now it's starting to do it. Now it's starting to play ball. So as I say, make sure it's well ventilated. This stuff will give you a headache if it's not. Right, so now we're there. You can just get rid of the bulk of your resin you've got left over. This is starting to go. Okay, it's already going. So we know that we've got the bulk of the crack on the bottom side dealt with. Yeah, it's starting to lift now, so I need to be a bit careful here, Mick. See how it's lifting? Because it's starting to go off. Rapido. So now I want something of a sensible weight to put onto, sorry about knocking you, to put onto this to hold that down. And what better thing to use? No, not my fat ass before we start saying stuff. Right. I've got a nice big generator here. That can go on there. Just make sure you're not fiberglassing that to the deck because that'd be hilarious. Okay, so nice bit of weight to close that crack up. And now the project is now fixed or fixing. This won't take long to go off. But I will generally leave this either overnight or for the next at least 2 or 3 hours. Okay, part 1 of the ATCO Viscount now done. You've seen the engine run. The drive does work, but I need to look into that. That's a weird setup. It's like you engage the drive, there should be something there to hold it, to cause like a friction, like a catch, and then you should be able to just pull it back with ease. It should stay there. There's a little tiny bracket down by the drive. Not quite sure what that does yet. I've not worked on these before, so if you do know, let me know. But it looks like the bracket has got a little tiny hook on it, but that's actually the wrong way up, I think. So maybe someone's been in there. But we'll go from there. So that's part one, up and running. Crack found. First part of a crack repaired. We've got to repair the other side yet. Once that's all done, I've got some spray here. This is the Ransom Green. I've got some British Racing Green. That might be a bit of a closer match. We just paint that over, mask it up, blend it in best we can. It's going to be hidden anyway by the black cover underneath and by the engine as well. So you're not going to see a lot of it. But if someone spots a repair there, they're going to know what's happened there. But fiberglass, that should hold that. So that'd be cool. So hopefully we'll get on to part two and get this machine up and running, tidy and looking a bit better and doing what it should do and safer as well. That's the most important thing. If this is your first time you're watching Micks Mowers, hit the subscribe button, whack your bell, set notifications to all. That you'll be told, one, I've done a video, or two, I'm on my Saturday night weekly live stream, which starts at 6:30 PM UK time. So come up and join us. I look forward to the next episode of Micks Mowers very, very soon. But until then, people, don't forget, much more importantly, take it easy.